welcome to this live broadcast. So my name is Robin Locke, and I am wanting to share a bit about discovering your purpose, or maybe you already know it, but it's something that I feel is important. So let me first tell you a little bit about myself and maybe why you should listen here. So I had a near-death experience back in 2006 and was in the hospital for about 5 months, recovering and I guess restoring. But before all the restoration and the recovery occurred, I had what some might call a near-death experience, and I was asked if I wanted to live. And I said I didn't know. I needed to think about it for 24 hours, and then I would give an answer. And so you might imagine what my answer was, because I am here today. And it's a joy. So I've gathered, I guess you might say, intuitive insights, and I help to transform others to be able to see what maybe they didn't see before without looking at life just a little bit differently. So that's a part of my mission and my passion and my purpose. And so I hope to help others who maybe don't feel quite fulfilled. Have you ever been in that space where you don't feel complete? Maybe you have all the physical tools, the physical things that you might want, but maybe you don't have the things that make you feel complete and whole within. And so that's what this is about, because you can't buy this. You can't manufacture it. You can't hire someone else to do this work. It's work that really isn't work, but it becomes a part of the passion of your life. And so this is the purpose-driven objective that I hope to share today a little bit, and hope that you might garner some things out of that. And so you might sit with this for a time and recognize that when you are in that space of wanting to engage, wanting to find that thing, how do you go about finding it? And maybe could you be possibly doing it already? Could you be in the midst of doing something that you're passionate about, that you love, that is your purpose-driven objective, that is that thing that brings you to that space where you want to do and be more? And so you might already be doing what you had set out to learn and to do. But it is also the connecting of the dots, do you see? It's also the connecting of the dots of knowing that you were doing that thing, that you actually came here to this life to experience and to know. But if you don't know that you're doing it, if you are doing it happen chance, if you're doing it coincidentally, then you're not connecting all the dots for something that I believe you set up into motion to accomplish, do, or be. And so you have to, at some point, connect all the aspects so that your life gets that feeling of fulfillment. And then you don't feel like something's missing. You don't feel that something is amiss or not complete or not whole. And I think oftentimes that is the remedy for many things that cause depression and perhaps even illness. Because so often illness and those things that we don't like are given so that you make different choices in life, so that you look for a different pathway, so that you look for a different crossroad. Because if everything were perfect, if everything were as you wanted it to be, you would just continue on with life as it is. But when you're wanting more, when you're ready for that next step, when you're ready for life to progress and proceed as it might unfold to a bigger, more expansive life, then that is when you start to become what I would call a seeker. And you're seeking now to find answers. You're seeking now to move into that space that will give you more. Because you're given what you're ready to receive. If all were given to you when you're not in a receptive mode to receive, would you even see what was given? Would you even notice that something is there waiting for you to be discovered and unwrapped and found? And so you might look oftentimes at adversity and those things maybe that have happened in your past, because it's hard sometimes to be in the middle of it and and see what's given, and sometimes you just have to get to the other side of it. But might you look at those things in your past that aren't perceived as being beneficial, that were hiccups, let us say, along the way? And so would you perhaps be in the same space if you didn't have those occurrences? Would you be maybe in a different space? And those occurrences caused you to make different choices. You had to move away from this one thing to move towards something else, to move you out of the adversarial position. And so I'll recommend that you see everything as a gift. Because when you see things as a gift and you recognize that even those things that aren't seen as being beneficial actually did move you in a direction that might have been different than the direction you were moving before. And so when you can look at life and give gratitude, even for those things that you don't see the benefit for them being in your lives right now, when you don't see the benefit of what has moved into position and queue, it's time to take a different perspective. It's time to look at things in a bit more of a whimsical, wonderment sort of way, so that you can see and perceive what you maybe couldn't see and perceive before. And so it's a shifting, and it's a shift changing. And so what I'll say is that I receive insights because these insights are not my own, and I'm grateful for the insights that I receive. And so the insights that I receive are those that I then share on my website, which is advancedenergetics.org, and through books that have been written and given so that you can have the best life possible. And it all revolves around finding your purpose. Because when you find your purpose in life, known as your mission, your passion, your reason for being, when you find that, the work that you do isn't work. It's a joy, and it's an opportunity to be in a space that aligns you with what you wanted to understand when you entered into life on this earth. It's what you wanted to know and understand and encapsulate by being in the midst of the doings of the thing that you didn't understand. And so I'll say that it isn't a thing, your purpose, but it's an energy. And it's an energy that you create in the doing of the activity that brings you to that point where you know what that thing that you wanted to know, what that thing was. That when you feel that energy and you evoke that energy, because it is a feeling option, but it is the feeling of it by you feeling what you are doing and what you're generating. And when you feel that energy, and you know then also the countermeasure of the energy, which is oftentimes the things that aren't wanted. So the converse energy is that opposing energy, is that opposite energy that you may not have chosen to want to feel, But in order to know the full expanse of that thing that you wanted to know, which is your purpose-driven objective, you have to know the countermeasure to know the full expanse of that which you seek to know. And so that's the purpose-driven objective. And so that's what these books are all about. And in fact, there's another book that's going to be coming out in November around Thanksgiving. That's when these books seem to be launched. And it will be going through more on your purpose. It will actually be the third or trilogy book or series in KDP and Amazon. It's the third of a series that will elaborate on your purpose. And there's also another book called The What If Book of What Is, and it talks about how to self-heal and how to release energy and baggage and things that are unnecessary for you to carry. That makes life a little bit more difficult when you maintain these energies, so you want to release them. And that's what that book is about. And the objective of that book and how it ties into your purpose is that you need a healthy body oftentimes to be able to enact your purpose. And so if your body gets disease and illness and different adversarial things, then it's time to release that and allow it to almost springboard into a new direction and pathway so that you can achieve the objective that you set up to understand, know, do, or be. And so that's what this is all about. And that is the purpose-driven objective. And so what I hope in future live broadcasts is to do a measure, and not such a broad-based one that I'm doing today, but do something of a measure that would be more specific and more unique to those who would be joining in and seeing either the live broadcast or one subsequent to this. Because you can always send an email to Robyn, and it's ROBYN, at advancedenergetics.org to ask your questions or to set up a consultation. But what I'd love to do is, this is an opportunity for me and perhaps you to be able to work together, to be able to devise a methodology to find your purpose, to locate that which is all about why you're here, and to fill that void and feel the infusion of what knowing your purpose and what that objective is all about. And so as we go forward and as we move about in what will progress over time, know that I look forward to comments and questions and answering insightful opportunities that you have considered and wonder about within your purpose-driven objectives. And so that's what this is all about. And I look forward to sharing and conversing further as opportunities present themselves so that we might work together and strive to determine what your purpose is within this life, so that as you create that purpose-driven objective, you realize that you can achieve anything and that you can do anything, and that it might be something that you're already doing. And then you have that purpose-driven life, that work is no longer work, it's a joy, and it can be found in almost anything that you want to do. And so this is my methodology, this is my objective, this is what I hope for you as I've hoped for myself, because it was something that I looked for years and would go to bed each night and ask to perhaps be given insights as I would awaken. And I had to kind of train myself to remember to look for the answers when I was waking up, so that when I did get up, I didn't start engagements with the mind, because the mind can take you off track and can kind of derail your day from being, I'd say, an almost enlightened day by entering into the judgments and the banter that the mind does produce, and it's endless checklists. And so I would suggest that you look at when you get those confirmations of life choices, if you've asked the question from your mental awareness, or if you've started from your heart space, and if you've looked at determining what is most significant when you align first from the heart center. Because what I'll say is that the mind sometimes will lead you adrift and give you mental confirmations that are different than heart-centered ones. And they may be a short fix, they may be a short fuse, a short opportunity to delve into something and get that confirmation and believe that you're going in the right path. But oftentimes the mind will lead you to a dead end or to a location or a space that you need to re-engage to find another solution when the first one doesn't work. And so know that life is as you intend it to be, as you want it to be, and that all is an option and an opportunity. And so with that, I'm going to close things up for today, but I would love that you share this with your friends or for those who you feel it might be a benefit, because so many are seeking today, and it's connecting with those seekers that are looking for answers that will be most beneficial. And I look forward to answering your questions, addressing any concerns or insights that you have within your life as you come to the crossroads. And know that I enlist assistance. It's not perhaps me answering the questions, but I enlist assistance and get intuitive insights that I would then share. So that's the way kind of I work, because I'm I'm just human. But I get insights that are beyond my human capability. And so I wish you well this day and hope that you have a most prosperous day. And I look forward to aligning further in light and love.